Thank you, Jason. Hello, everybody. My name is Stuart Clark. I'm a developer advocate with Cisco DevNet. In this session, I'm going to show you all of the awesome resources that we have for you on Cisco DevNet. If you want to learn more about Cisco at NSO and all of the programmability and aspects side, including the API and get hands-on experience, stay tuned for this session because we're going to go through all of that content for you right now and how you can access it. So let's start by looking at the NSO Dev Center. What is the NSO Dev Center? The Dev Center is a product of technical writing that refers to NSO. This has been developed for developers and for both product-related information. It shows you how NSO should be consumed, and the main purpose of our Dev Center is to help our customers achieve their goals using the NSO platform. No matter where you're starting your journey with NSO, if you're new to NSO or an intermediate to advanced user, the Dev Center should be your first port of call when coming to NSO on Cisco DevNet. Let's jump into the Dev Center and see what it can offer. On the Dev Center, you'll see that we've bundled all of the developer resources by topics. This is core topics, learning NSO, and also best practices. You can navigate to all of these resources by just simply clicking on each of the tabs. If you are getting started with NSO, the Getting Started content for NSO will take you from zero to hero. It's really the great place to get started with a whole content learning catalog contributed and built by NSO to help start that journey with programmability and NSO. If you wanted to follow NSO in structure-led training, there's a radio button for this, which offers a structured learning concept for learning NSO with instructors as well. If you're already using NSO and you want to look at best practices and use cases, we cover these as well in service design, performance and scaling, and also network automation delivery model. You can navigate also with the shortcuts in the top radio buttons to the Learning Labs, the NSO documentation, the NSO community, information about upcoming developer days, and also support and downloads. All of these resources are free to access, and you can jump into these at any point and any time. The next piece to look at is the NSO Sandboxes. The sandboxes at DevNet are hugely popular, the NSO one in particular. The NSO Sandbox makes the technology available to developers and engineers by providing a pre-packaged lab. The NSO Sandboxes can be used for development, testing API, testing the code, learning how to configure NSI from a product standpoint. It's used often in DevNet training. It's used as well in hackathons. It's used across the board by a number of resources, both customers and partners alike. So let's take a look at what the NSO Sandbox looks like. This is the NSO Sandbox. It's pretty big. We cover a lot of technologies in here as well, such as iOS XR, XE, and Nexus are all integrated within the sandbox. But not only is NSO in the sandbox as well, along with Cisco platforms, we also provide a number of tools in here as well, such as GitLab and CI/CD pipeline. These are all configured and baked into the sandbox itself, so you don't have to install anything locally should you not wish to. You can run everything in the sandbox, from configuration and deployment. The sandboxes come in two flavors. They come in always on and reservable. The main difference is the always on is read only. This is publicly accessible 24 hours a day from any device in the world. This is why this is a read only device. It's publicly available on the internet, so people can log in or use the NSO APIs to retrieve information about devices. But if you're looking to do configuration management, changes and test and have admin credentials, I would suggest using the reserve-based sandbox. The reserve-based NSO Sandbox can be reserved for a number of days, and upon reservation you'll get an email with credentials to help you log in via a VPN into the NSO Sandbox. Once in there, you have full administrative control over the sandboxes, and you're free to run whatever configurations you want on the devices themselves. And if something does go wrong, you can always tear down that sandbox and reserve a new one. It's simple. The next piece is code exchange. There's a lot of pieces of code out there, and you can search the internet looking for examples of how to do something with APIs in many different languages such as Python and Ansible with NSO. But how do you know you're looking at something of any good quality? This is why we created Code Exchange. Code Exchange is a single curated online catalog for Cisco customers to help find code and products and services offered from all of the Cisco ecosystem. And NSO has a huge number of cases and examples within Code Exchange. You can search Code Exchange by looking by product categories, or you can just do a free search by typing NSO into the search bar. What you'll come back with right now is around 20 different code examples, all which relate to NSO. All of these have been tested and they come with a license as well. So you can be sure that when using this code that the submission that you're seeing in there has been checked and it's been validated before you use it. The code submitted into Code Exchange is submitted in by DevNet, by the NSO team, by Cisco TMEs, by our SEs, and also by our community. But all of the code goes through the same rigorous checks before it's published onto Code Exchange itself. We wanted to take Code Exchange one step further, and this is why we created Cisco DevNet Automation Exchange. And so Automation Exchange really takes that best practice into account. It's taking just pieces of code and solving real-world challenges that we see our customers and partners making. What you see within Automation Exchange is a problem statement, and then how to solve that problem statement with NSO and model-driven programmability. It helps guide the teams through their journey with a walk, run, fly methodology, bringing both network and developer professionals the intro into unleashing the capabilities of what we consider the new network through programmability. The walk, run, and fly methodology helps sort all of the different categories out for when you're looking for a particular use case. This is what Automation Exchange looks like. And again, you can search on this by different verticals such as campus and branch, data center, service provider where you'll find NSO, and also security. Again, like Code Exchange, you can do a free form search, or you can search by platform as well. There's a huge number of submissions into Automation Exchange, again, built by Cisco DevNet, the NSO team themselves, and also the community and other internal teams at Cisco, such as TMEs and SMEs. Really contributing on code altogether helps it easier to find best practices and similar use cases. When looking for a use case of how to solve it, you can just jump straight into Automation Exchange and see if that use case is there. And chances are somebody's already tried that use case or a similar use case, and you can modify that use case to your environment, or you can often try that use case and best practice within the DevNet Sandboxes, which I showed you earlier. So where do you find all of these great things? I've created shortcuts for everything that I've shown you today here. The NSO Dev Center, the DevNet Sandbox, and also Code Exchange and Automation Exchange. Just by following these shortcut links, it'll take you directly to all of the resources that I've shown you today. These are all free resources. The only thing you have to do is to sign up to Cisco DevNet, which is free, to get access to the full catalog of resources. We're constantly bringing new resources out as well. This happens from a very tight interlock that we have with the NSO team to bring fresh new content to discover where the journeys are for professionals using NSO today. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and now I'm going to pass you over to the next session, which is Hank Preston. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you on Cisco DevNet soon.